Hey, Thrive Loud fans, Lou Diamond here. You know, video continues to be such an integral part of marketing and messaging your business. And many entrepreneurs and small businesses are a bit uncertain, even confused, about how to best create and deploy videos for their websites, YouTube channels, and social media sites. If you fall into this category, I have one word for you: Animoto. Join the millions of businesses, photographers, and families who use the power of video to share what matters most to them. Whether it's marketing videos for your business, slideshow videos for photography, or even slideshow compilations of family pictures, anyone can make great videos with Animoto. If you've been a regular listener, you heard Animoto's co-founder, Jason Shao, on the program share his story and how his company is helping so many people incorporate video into their messaging. After that episode aired, we had listeners, former Thrive Loud guests, and even yours truly use Animoto to help create effective marketing videos. So head over to Animoto.com, click the Get Started button, and use the promo code THRIVELOUD to get an additional savings. That's Animoto, A-N-I-M-O-T-O. Make great videos easily.
Have you been boring yourself with uninteresting podcasts made by monotone and overly serious people? Are you tired of hearing the same stuff every day on NPR? Then please consider helping us on our mission of making Thrive Loud the #1 business podcast. Because, well, let's be honest, we're #1.
Get ready to Thrive Loud with Lou Diamond.
Welcome, everyone, to another episode of Thrive Loud with Lou Diamond, connecting you to the most inspiring and amazing people that are thriving each and every day. Today on Thrive Loud, we bring you the creator of My Sweat Story, the founder of SweatCity App, and a brand ambassador for Adidas Canada. She has been committed to a fitness journey and has become one of Canada's top social media sensations. She has a great story, and you're going to love to connect with her today. Thrive Loud listeners, Laura Davidson. Laura, how are you today?
I am doing well. How are you?
I'm doing spectacular, thank you. And this is a really great story. I'm excited to have you on because we were introduced through a fellow Canadian who said, you got to hear this story about Laura Davidson. And I said, let me check her out. And you've got one really cool journey, and I'm not going to tell it. It's much more exciting for the Thrive Loud fans if they hear it from you. So if you could, talk a little bit about how you got on the path that you're on right now, and I will interject accordingly. Sound like a plan?
Sounds great. It's obviously a bit of a long story, but I'll try to keep it a Cole's Note version. But I would say it all sort of started when I got my first real job, if you will, working for Kevin O'Leary here in Toronto, which if some of the listeners might recognize him on Shark Tank and Dragon's Den, that sort of thing. So a big time entrepreneur, venture capitalist. And back then when I started with him, I never thought of myself as an entrepreneur. I never expected to leave the full-time world, which I'll get to. But I think this all started from working with him and kind of feeding off of his energy, his talents, his know-how, and being immersed in sort of this startup culture with all of the brands that we worked with through the shows and things like that. So I would say that definitely plays a huge impact on it. And while I was working at that job, I was doing financial accounting at the time, so very different from what I'm in now in terms of tech and fitness. But I started feeling a little bit bored and unfulfilled and just not challenged enough with what I was doing. I was very good at what I did, and it was really easy for me, but it wasn't feeding me anymore. So I had this idea. I was in this sort of moment of my life where I wanted to look better. I was in more of a vanity state in terms of health and fitness, and I wanted to start working out. And I used to be an athlete when I was a kid and in high school and stuff like that. And, transitioning back into that sort of fitness world. And I didn't really know how to do it. A post-university struggle sometimes can be a common thing for a lot of people, where you leave something that you're so used to, and then you go into this university world where you kind of lose that athletics sometimes.
Right.
So I was looking to connect with people to kind of feed this accountability and motivation that I needed, because I knew I was lacking that. And that's where the concept of SweatCity was born. So I started building that on the side while I was still working full time. And I did that for a couple of years because I didn't really know what I was doing. I had no technical background. I was still figuring out my own fitness journey as well, and decided to quit my full-time job last year. So we're about 8 months or so now, being a real entrepreneur, I like to call it, and fully immerse myself into the app world and fitness industry.
So let's go through some of the specifics here. So I'm going to take it into two sides of it. Let's talk a little bit about the fitness side first, and then I'll jump into the app side. For your own personal fitness journey, what specifically, you wanted to get back into shape, but how did you want to go about doing it? Did you feel it was something you had a goal to get into where it was just all about fitness, or you got a specific goal that you were aiming to get to? Like, I don't know, being more in shape in a race. That some people have specific targets that they're aiming for. I'll ask that question for starters.
Right. It was more of a general sort of, it honestly started out of vanity. I wanted to look better. I didn't really realize how much fitness can change your life in terms of how you feel, yep. Which I think is a big, big difference, and part of the reason why I think a lot of people stick to fitness once they get into it. But at the beginning, it was definitely more of a vanity thing. I was just kind of sick of doing this like yo-yo workout plan that I was constantly doing. I'd work out for a couple of weeks and then I'd fall off for a couple of months, and then I'd go back and forth, being unhappy with myself. Happy with myself, unhappy, happy. And I just knew that I had more in me. So I decided to start a fitness blog in January of 2017. So I started the app first, and then I was still kind of struggling with my own personal journey and living, the finance lifestyle, that 9-to-5 sort of grind. And it was challenging. So started a fitness blog to publicly commit myself to a 3-month sort of transformation ebook thing that I had purchased. Okay. And that's kind of where the whole fitness journey started. I didn't really have a goal to set out to do a 10K, even though I did run one in that first year, which was awesome. And it was just more or less about becoming stronger and more in shape.
Any type of certain exercises that you have, is it a daily routine or regular routine? Do you work with a trainer?
So I've had some experiences with trainers, and I don't currently have one right now, but I've taken a lot of what I've learned over the last almost 2 years now and kind of applied that to myself. I also really enjoy attending classes, and I focus mostly on strength training and weightlifting with the occasional sort of cardio mix, maybe a spin class here or there. Mm-hmm. But yeah, that's kind of like the regimen. And then I definitely have my daily routines in terms of, healthy living and sustaining that sort of routine.
And I'll ask one more question to lean in this space. Did your diet change significantly from what you did before you went on this committed fitness journey to where you are today?
Absolutely. I think that's the biggest player. I think you can work out as much as you want, but if you're not going to tailor the rest of your lifestyle to it, you're never going to get to where you actually think you're going to go. So the biggest thing I started doing in terms of fitness and food was to meal prep. So I started preparing my lunch for me every single day, which gave me more time to work out. So I would work when I was working 9 to 5. So a lot of the excuses most of the time for people is I don't have time. Right. So I looked at myself, I analyzed who I was, and I made a window available for me. So I knew I wasn't a morning person. So I didn't try to set myself up for a 6 a.m. workout, knowing I would sleep in and then probably feel really bad about myself when I didn't do what I said I was going to do. So, and then I knew myself after work, sometimes you work late or you're exhausted, and that's a very easy excuse for you to have as well. So I looked at my lunch hour window. I thankfully worked about a 5-minute walk away from my home. So I would go home to my condo gym, work out over lunch, have my lunch prepared. So that was where my meal prep came in. So there was no excuses in terms of, I've got to go get food or make food. It was just there. And then I'd go back to the office and finish off the day. So I think that was a big player in being able to actually keep myself accountable and made something that was realistic for myself, which I think is a big stepping stone, or one of the first stepping stones into becoming a successful person, is being realistic with yourself and your goals.
So I like this. So let's flip this to the other side of this tennis match I'm making here of this conversation, and that being the SweatCity app. Now, you are not from a technology background, but obviously you're around a lot of these entrepreneurial companies and working with Kevin O'Leary. Talk to us about what this app is about and what it's been like managing the business of running an app.
Absolutely. So the app itself currently has three main features. Two of them are about to roll out in the next week and then within the next month. So the first feature that it has is matching people one-on-one that are looking for a workout partner. So it has a functionality that's similar to Tinder and Bumble with that swiping and matching, but rather than looking for a date, you're looking for someone to hit the gym with or go for a run with. So you can pick your fitness preferences and time of day that you like to work out with, and then match with people based off of those parameters. And then the second feature that we're adding in and rolling out this week, actually, here in Toronto, is a map page that will show you where to go and what to do and how to live that healthy lifestyle in your city, aka how to sweat in your city. So we're going to have 4 categories that cover all the bases of local businesses through fitness, food, apparel, and wellness stores. So basically be able to open up the map, see what juice bars, organic coffee shops, healthy eateries, fitness studios, spin studios, all that are kind of around you, and be able to navigate your way into that healthy lifestyle day to day. And the third and final piece that will roll out in about a month or so is the ability for our users to connect with experts. So experts will fall under 4 categories, being training, nutrition, sports medicine, so your physio, chiro, acupuncture, as well as mental wellness. So I'm looking to have some mental health counselors on there, as well as maybe meditation experts, things like that, something for the mind as well.
Okay, this is brilliant. And by the way, this is what Thrive Loud is all about. I love this, that you've really taken what has been an evolving, almost organic way of living a lifestyle, which how people will work out with one another. But the idea of putting the app together and utilizing, because they're using it anyway, find the workout buddy, you made it a social commitment, but you've brought the whole culture together of the Sweat City and the Sweat Story together. It really is bringing it together. I love this connectivity about this, and that's what we're all about here on Thrive Loud. So, by the way, kudos to you on this. So let's talk about some of the specifics. How has it been running the company aspect of it, the business part? Forget about the technology and what's on there. As a young entrepreneur and a leader, what have been some of the really good wins that you've had right out of the gate, and what have been some of the difficult challenges you continue to face each day?
So running the business side of things is obviously, I guess maybe not obviously, but it's definitely had its ups and downs, and it's more or less a learning process. It is my first business to be running, and I will attribute it to having a great team as part of, I think, some of the success that we've had. But we've definitely had some failures and some turnover in terms of not having the right dev team or trying to outsource development overseas, which wasn't really working very well, but it was cheaper, so I tried it, that sort of thing. So there's definitely been some challenges, but I feel that a successful business is, or being a successful business owner is being able to surround yourself with the people that know more than you, and then taking all that information from them and making the right decision with it, and moving your business in the direction you know it needs to go, whether it's a hard choice or not. And I can definitely say that that's probably been the best so far. Is having the right team. Just another sort of shout out of sort of what happened this year, which I was completely surprised by, was we were listed as one of the top 6 community-based apps on the App Store worldwide in December of 2017. So that was kind of crazy, and a super successful moment, which I wasn't really expecting to have, but very happy to have had it.
Excellent, and I think it's. You'll learn, and it never gets tired, right? It never gets old. Every single day is a new adventure that probably helps you balance all this out. I then wanted to ask this question. You're now a brand ambassador for Adidas. How did that opportunity come to you, and how is that going?
So that came super organically. I something that's so amazing. It's one of those things. So when I started this whole my fitness blog last year, and obviously Instagram goes along with that, I wasn't setting out to become this content creator, brand ambassador, or anything for any brand. I was more or less just speaking honest truth, deep honest truths in my blog posts and things I had to say, talking about things I felt that women sort of needed or could use to benefit them and help them feel more confident. And one of the brands that I never said this out loud, but one of the brands I felt most connected to was Adidas. And about 6 to 8 months in, I started hearing from them a little bit, getting invited to some events they were throwing in Toronto. And then they invited a few of us out to Wanderlust, which is sort of this yoga festival that travels around the world that they sponsor. And went out there for the 3 nights, 4 days into Montreal and Mount Tremblant. And I didn't realize it at the time, but it was more or less an audition with all of us to join the brand as brand ambassadors for Canada. And I think it's a good thing that I didn't realize that, because I was truly authentically myself while I was there, and I wasn't, hiding anything or not being me. So them selecting me after that was very rewarding and a huge sort of accomplishment in terms of everything that I was leaning towards in terms of wanting to quit my job, because at that point I hadn't quit yet, and all those things. So it was just sort of that another solidification that I was doing the right thing and that I was definitely on the right path.
So Laura, I'm jumping in here. Let's go through in the short window of time all the things that you've got going on. You quit your job. You've been following your passion and writing this blog of My Sweat Story. You've created a new app. You are a brand ambassador for Adidas in Canada. You've changed the way that you eat, the way you work out. You're on a fitness journey, and you are thriving loudly as you possibly can. One, have you taken a breath?
I mean, yes, and it doesn't come without its challenges either. So like, all of those things that I did and the changes and transitions that I made personally allowed me to evolve to quit my job, and as well with that, at one point I was in a relationship where I had purchased a home with someone. I thought I was going to be starting the rest of my life with this person. And with how much I evolved, I knew that this path with him was no longer the way for me to go down either. So with all of the amazing accomplishments and things that have happened, there are sacrifices that were made and hard decisions that had to happen. So it's always kind of that give and take, I feel.
Yeah. So here's a question I ask all the guests on the program, Laura. And to your point, you have a good understanding of that. It's not all rosy every day, although you are thriving on most days. So on the days that you're not thriving, who or what practice do you turn to get yourself back on the thriving track?
Honestly, it's social media now. So the accountability that I have to the people that follow me is what I guess will bring me out on those days where I'm not really feeling it. Knowing that they're looking to me for that sort of motivation and inspiration makes me want to bring that to the table for them. Because, I do appreciate them honestly more than I think people realize when you do follow somebody who does have a genuine sort of account and presence online. Without them, my life wouldn't be the same. So it definitely comes down to that.
I got to tell you, I love this answer because I think, social media can get a bad rap. From people, you've heard people have been depressed because there's too much FOMO going on and they're utilizing it as an escape and not dealing with other people. But one, you're putting social media together to actually connect people through your app. You're using your social media channel to support your fans and your messages and really use that as an inspiration to do that. And that is awesome. That is what this platform probably never was really initially intended to be about, but what you can make it. And kudos to you for doing that. I think that's a great way to communicate a different medium and a way to really think forward, which is very powerful. So thank you, Laura, for that.
Well, thank you.
So this is the time where you get to give all the plugs, all the things that people need to know where to find you. We're going to put all these links on the actual show notes of the show, but we would like to have it in a place that everyone can know it. And that comes better hearing it from you. So tell us everywhere we can find all the things that you put together here.
Absolutely. So obviously you guys can follow me on Instagram. It's at Miss Laura Davidson, MISS, and Laura Davidson, as well as my blog, My Sweat Story. So you can subscribe there and stay connected as well. And then additionally, the app. So SweatCityApp.com, download on the App Store. It's just called SweatCity App. And you can also find us on Instagram there, which is just at SweatCity App.
So I'm going to ask 2 final questions here on Thrive Loud here because I'm curious, Laura. One of them, is the standard question, which is, what is your all-time favorite movie?
So that would honestly be a little cheesy, but it's The Notebook.
That's not cheesy. That's a great movie.
A little bit. It's like a romantic classic, in my opinion.
What specifically is the part about it that connects with you?
Just how they were destined to be together.
Yep.
I would say it's like, they sort of, through some misfortune, I guess, but followed their heart all the way through and connected back to being with one another. And lived a long, happy life.
Yeah, that's very true. Okay, so now comes the one that I couldn't decide which side of the coin I wanted to go with, and that is, with this fitness journey you're on, what is your favorite workout that you love to do? That might be the most challenging, but when you're done with it, you feel the most rewarded.
So that is definitely here in Toronto, there's a gym called Myo Detox Performance, and it's a group fitness class, but it is one of the very few group fitness classes that is actually fully focused around weightlifting and strength training. And it is an ass kicker, and it is my absolute favorite sweat that I could ever have.
Laura Davidson, this is awesome. I feel like I need to go hit the gym after talking right now. So this was great.
Love it.
Thank you so much for coming on Thrive Loud today.
Thank you.
And to all the Thrive Loud listeners out there, keep thriving onward and upward. And remember, be brief, be bright, be gone.
You've been listening to Thrive Loud with your host, Lou Diamond. Make sure to subscribe on iTunes, Overcast, or wherever you get your podcasts. And follow us on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at Thrive Loud. Or find us on the web at thriveloud.com.